let me ask you a question. Obviously, I mean, this is a subject you care you are passionate about. You've thought this through. I mean, that's an understatement. How do you though simply, I mean, even as I was talking to you, your schedule is packed. You're from one thing to the next to the next. And I remember years ago hearing someone say they'd read Henri Nouwen, and they said, I went to go visit him because I often want to know, do the authors live according to what they write?
Mhm.
Is that something that you find with yourself? I mean, when you get done at the end of the day, can you just simply turn it off?
Okay, that's a great question. And it's a great, honest question. I think that we need to ask questions like this way more, right? Because I think a lot of times it's so easy to talk it. It's a much harder to walk it. I'll answer it from a couple different directions. One thing I'll say is the reason I feel like I can speak confidently about it, but also why I'm passionate about it, is because it's deeply, deeply personal for me. It's actually a place that I'm naturally not good at. I'll take that back. I don't know if I'm naturally not good at it, but at one point I woke up and I realized I'm not good at this. Maybe as a kid I was good at it, but I've definitely been more on the side of entirely in the future, entirely not present, entirely. And so in some ways, I'm about as far as you can go in understanding what that's like and feeling out the contours of that and feeling out the difficulties that come with that. I want to say there's an authority maybe that comes from that, because it's not theory. That, like, none of this is stuff that I've just went on Google and I'm like, and then I'm just regurgitating it back. Like, this is lived. At the same time, I will say that I'm still on that journey. And if you were to talk to my wife, like if right now I called up my wife and brought her in, she would probably say, yeah, I'm still on that journey, but I'm also a completely different person than I used to be. And my experience of life is completely different, to the degree of, I don't even know how to describe it. Yeah, my experience of life is just totally different because the way I'm engaging the world is totally different. I'll also speak to briefly, and this is part of it has to do with my own role and in the way I'm able to configure my role. But what you experience, like my schedule being very full, part of what I've tried to do for myself, I was inspired by monks and the idea that with monks, they actually have a schedule where they know at any given time exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And to me, I was inspired because I thought, man, there's such a freedom to that, to know, okay, from 9 to 10, I'm in prayer. There's nowhere else, because they've taken commitments and they really believe that this is what God's called them to. So it's like, look, I know that if I'm being obedient to this rule, and I don't need to think about this or that. Like, I know right now this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. So what I've tried to do is get really good at saying yes and no to things, and try to make carve out time and almost operate off of a schedule in that way where I'm able to just fully be there, right? And there is quite a bit that's back to back, but because I know it's actually been designed in a certain sense and it's intentional, just like the system of monks living into, I can be very present in the moment, because I'm not actually so busy. I don't believe busy is actually a term that describes someone's external life so much as their internal one. It's more of an experience of life. It's more of a feeling that I feel busy. I feel like I'm all over the place. I feel this kind of like chaos of my mind's going, oh, there and this thing, and oh, I got to remember to do that and this and that. So externally, if you look at like my schedule, I'm a busy person, but I don't actually feel busy in the same way. And it's not just because I'm using the tool. I mean, there's so much I've had to grow in, even just surrendering control in certain ways and being open. And again, I don't want to go and I don't want to make it sound like I'm at the top of like a mountain, but I mean, I can truthfully say, like, I've come a really long way.